Shalom. 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 All right, so shalom. All right. I want to begin the lesson off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakurash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught us his truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I'm Shaquat, and I'm back here with another lesson, Lord willing, and edifying to the hopeful elect. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham to you, sincere Akyam, Moab, and a sincere shalom to you brothers out there pushing this truth down the highways and the byways and through the YouTube lessons, man. Shalom. All right. So, Lord willing, this be edifying. Hey, shalom, brother. Y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Shalom. But yeah, man. So you see by the title of this lesson, it says, devil argues, and you can assume who the devil is. I'm talking about Edomite, argues against polygyny. All right. Just go into the scriptures. Now, I put just go into the scriptures because Captain Tazariak, which he's gonna be in this video we're about to play here, he didn't go into the scriptures concerning the matter. All you have to do is go into the scriptures, man, and stop letting these devils control the narrative. You control the narrative, man. Stop letting the devils control this narrative, right? Just simply go into the scriptures, man. It's easy to prove within just a few scriptures or a plethora of scriptures that polygyny is indeed okay. It's righteous. This is the right thing to do, matter of fact, right? It's the way of life. This is our God-given right, so to speak, as Israelite men and as men in general, because any man can have a lot of women, right? That's our Yahweh given right. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go to the video. See if it goes over. Yeah, it did. Okay. So here we go. This is from the page from the brother Bible Defenders. I don't know the brother's name, but he makes very good edifying lessons.
Easy question. Yes. And I
on if she
Forgive me.
on if she one of your children.
I answered your crazy question. Yes. And
There's nothing crazy about it. Here's why it's not crazy. I demonstrated to you that just in lieu of you having people who are not a biological parent inside of the household, right, the chances of a child getting hurt or injured by this other person who's not a biological parent drastically go up. I can give you all of the data on this if you'd like it. I can link it.
Now, my question is, where the hell did you get this information from? Where did you get this data from? Right? The U.S. doesn't even truly allow polygamous, or at least in the legal sense, polygamous relationships. So where did you get this data from? Right? This shows you the wits of this serpent. This nigga had to go and make up data, not this guy in particular, but the elites in general. Esau in general, they had to go and create and conjure up some fake data to try to say polygyny is wrong. Crazy work, if you ask me, because there is no way you could get stats on that because it's not even legal in America. So how do you get stats on this shit? And if we're being honest, there's no such thing as a monogamous relationship in Babylon the Great. There's no such thing, all right? Because you got women dealing with a multitude of men, right? When a woman's true husband is the first one she deals with, all right? The one who takes her virginity. So she deals with other men after that. That's now a polygamous relationship. So there's not even a such thing truly as a monogamous relationship in Babylon the Great. All right, there's no such thing. That's why Yahweh Shai called this generation this sinful and adulterous generation. That's why. So while this devil tries to argue against polygyny, he doesn't realize there is no such thing as monogamy here in America. There's no such thing. It's whoredom running rampant. It's bad out here. So what the hell is this guy talking? Where the hell did you get these statistics from? There's not even enough people in a legal polygamous relationship to get to some statistics like this. So what are you talking about? Before the Israelites came on the scene, wasn't nobody talking about polygyny. So come on now, stop playing, man.
Say it one more time.
Yes. If it is the case that you live in a household with non-biological parents, your chances of injury drastically increase. Drastically increase. So if the state has custody of you, drastically increase. You have a stepdad, it increases. Stepmom, it increases. And in polygamous homes where there's multiple wives, the chances of a child getting hurt increase by the non.
I'm gonna be honest. There's no you should. It's not even wise to have multiple wives under one roof. It's not wise to do that. Now, in Jacob's trouble is going to be a different situation, of course, different situation in Jacob's trouble. But we're not talking about Jacob's trouble. I'm talking about in just like in a normal sense. There's no reason to have multiple wives under one roof. Don't do it. It's not wise. It's not a wise thing to do, really.
On a blooded parent, they increase. That is in fact. Hang on. That is in fact the case when you study polygamy. So the thing is that why it is pertinent is because your chances would increase of one of your wives hurting one of your children that's not one of her biological offspring.
Now, you mentioned stepmothers earlier. Wouldn't that be a possibility? Would just someone say a mother and a father stop dealing with each other, and the father gets a new wife, and that becomes the child's stepmother, and they say they're living in separate houses now. So now this is not technically polygamy, right, or polygyny. He's in a monogamous relationship again, so to speak, right? Wouldn't there still be a good chance that the stepmother can fucking hurt the child or something? When your wife hurt the child, this can happen any type of way, in any shape or form. What does polygyny have to do with this? Devil's just drawing a straw man, and Tazariak is just letting the nigga talk. I would have told this nigga, man, shut the fuck up. I don't even hear you talk no more. You're just talking. You're just doing that, talking, giving niggas a word salad and shit.
So it's pertinent for me to ask, inside of your religion, could you leave her? You said yes. And then you said the only way for you to leave a person or divorce them, separate yourself from them, is actually through fornication. This is a P, not P contradiction. It's a literal P, not P. So you have to reconcile this contradiction. How can you divorce your wife if she murdered one of your children? How can you do that?
Hold on. Hold on. What the hell did this guy say?
P. So you have to reconcile this contradiction. How can you divorce your wife if she murdered one of your children? How can you do that?
Well, let's go into the law. See, what Captain Zariak is not going to do here, when you're going to see when I play this video again, he's not going to go into the law. Bro, just go into the law. We're going to go into the law. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20. All right, and there's various scriptures concerning this, but we're going to go to Exodus 20, right? So, I'm going to read your comment in 1 second, brother. Exodus 20, and let me see. I'm going to start right here. The 10 commandments. So these are the first 10 commandments that was given to us. So this is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And power spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So another way to understand why Deuteronomy 28 and 68 says what it says concerning going back into Egypt again with ships, even though we know we never went back into Egypt with no ships. It says Egypt because Egypt is also known and considered as what? The house of bondage. All right. Also, it's because America would be spiritually known as Egypt. All right. That's Revelation 11 and 8. So it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right. And I'm going to skip down to the point. Let's skip down to the point right here. In verse 13, thou shalt not kill. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this shouldn't say the word kill here. It should say murder. All right. That, it was just a botch in the transliteration from the Hebrew or from the Greek to the to the English. It was just a fuck up in the transliteration. You have other scriptures that actually say murderer. It's supposed to say thou shalt not murder, because there's nothing wrong with killing. All right, there's nothing wrong with killing. Say you got to defend yourself, or say somebody commits a sin unto death. There's nothing wrong with killing, but murder is something completely different. All right, you could even look this up. I could show you what. Just type this in. What is the difference between killing and murdering? Because he said murder, and that scripture should say murder. It said killing. This term broadly encompasses any act that results in death of a living being. It can occur in various contexts, including self-defense, accidents, or wartime actions. Killing can be lawful, right? But it says murder. This is a specific legal classification of killing that involves the intentional and unlawful taking of another person's life. Murder is characterized by malice or forethought, which means that the perpetrator had the intent to kill or cause serious harm. It is always considered a serious crime and punishable by law. So there's a difference between just killing and murder, right? So the scripture should say, "Thou shalt not murder." All right. So what happens if you murder? What happens if you murder, right? If you murder someone, you put to death for it. Actually, that's also here in the law of Exodus. I don't remember the chapter, so let me see. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go to my cheat sheet because I don't remember the chapter, but I know it also speaks about it in Exodus. What scripture? Exodus 21 and 12. I knew it was somewhere in there in Exodus. Exodus chapter 21 and verse 12, it says, "He that smiteth a man," all right, that includes killing your children or whatever. "He that smiteth a man," or killing your woman, whatever. Man just means any human. "He that smiteth a man so that he die shall surely be put to death." So the punishment for murder is death. Why didn't you just go into the law? And there's other scriptures concerning this that could prove it. Just go into the law, bro. Just go into the law. Why not just go into the scriptures? That's why the title of this lesson is "Just Go into the Scriptures." You could have cut him right there. That's how I could leave her. I could leave her because murder is a sin unto death. So how can I be with her if she's supposed to be put to death? Just go into the law. It's pretty easy. Let's say the whole interview process shouldn't even be happening. If this was on the highway from the highways, it would be no problem though. Right, yeah. If this was on the highways and hedges, man, it wouldn't be no problem, man. You're right, bro. Shit, this shouldn't have, I said this same thing. It shouldn't have been happening. I made a lesson concerning Captain Tazariak like way earlier this year. I think it was in January. I made a lesson with a brother going into this, man, saying get off, stay away from these podcasts. Stay the hell away. It's pointless. And I think he was on a podcast with these same two niggas, Cooley, or I say Cooney, all right, Raccoony, all right. I'm talking about a raccoon, the animal Esau. Don't take this video down. Yeah, please don't. I'm talking about the animal that goes in the trash and shit, you know. But yeah, it's just stupid, man. This dude Andrew Wilson, that's the Edomite that's on there. All right, so let's go back.
Because in the Bible, when David was dancing, he just united Northern Kingdom. He just united all.
I'm going to skip this because he about to go into something that has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on.
12, and the ladies was going wild.
Well, it has something to do with it, but it's not good.
Wow. And he said not give kids with a question. So the reason why in your scenario,
okay,
that she did.
Can you put?
Wait, why can't I finish answering?
Okay.
Well, you see how quickly I just went to those scriptures, those two scriptures concerning how to leave a woman who murders your child. Why didn't he just go into the law? This could have been, you could have nipped this in the bud, dude.
How long are you going to filibuster, dude? I just want to get through the questions. The answer is yes, you can, right? You can divorce her?
Yeah, I can.
Absent fornication?
In a normal environment, no.
Listen, just go to this scripture, bro. What the hell is wrong with this man? Sorry. So like I don't want to. I'm seriously, what the hell is going on with this dude? Just go into the scriptures, man. Look at this. I'm gonna go to it for you. I don't know why you're not going to it, but I'll do it for you. Go to Ecclesiasticus. And he said anything outside of fornication, right? Yeah, bet. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and 26. Just go into the scriptures, man. That's it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and 26. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, meaning, oh, well, it's going to say it, and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Wait, one more time. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, meaning if she's not following your orders, being submissive unto you, cut her off from thy flesh, meaning separate yourself from her and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Just go into the scriptures, man. Just go into the scriptures, man. It's easy right here. Easy cut. Hold on. Let's get Sirach. We're going to go to that same scripture, 25 and 26 in the GNT. See what he gives us for that one. Look at that. In the GNT, Ecclesiasticus 25 and 26, it says, if she won't do as you tell her, divorce her. If she won't do as you tell her, divorce her. Just go into the scriptures, man. Hold on. What does this one say in the Bible Gateway? It says in the Good News, don't let her, verse 25 says, don't let a bad wife have her way any more than you would allow water to leak from your cistern. If she won't do as you tell her, divorce her. So don't let a bad wife just fucking keep getting over. She won't do what the hell you're telling her to do. Just leave her. All right? Now, does that mean just throw away your wife because she fucking being a woman and getting on your nerves? No. Women gonna do that. Apostle Paul said we're gonna have troubles in the flesh. But when she's doing some diabolical shit, you can leave her, man. And we're not in a time where we could put a woman to death for committing an atrocious sin. So the only thing you can do is leave the bitch. Because in the ancient world, you would be leaving her by putting her to death. But you can't do that in this kingdom. So yeah, the only option you have is to leave. Just go into the Bible, dude. I don't understand, man. Just go into the scriptures. It's that easy. Come on, dude.
Oh, in the absurd environment that you say, no.
What? Can you divorce her or not?
I said that wrong. In the absurd environment that you created, yes.
Okay, so then
environment,
can you divorce her if she diddles one of them?
Yes.
Yes, she's supposed to be put to death because that will be adultery, right? That will be fornication. That's fornication, bitch. Fornication means adultery. And then you could also say sexual immorality. But right here, when you go back to Exodus 20, there's various scriptures that go into this topic of adultery. But I'm just going to go right back to Exodus 20 since it's right here. It's the closest scripture. Exodus 20 and 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. So what is the punishment for committing adultery? Let's see. It should be in Deuteronomy or Leviticus. I'm trying to remember how to word this one. It's a specific scripture I want to get. Yeah, there it is. I remember. Adulterer shall surely. Here we go. Leviticus 20 and 10. All right. It says, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. All right. And let's see. Yeah. I'm trying to see. Fuck it, we'll just keep reading. But the point is, the punishment for adultery is death. So if one of my wives go and fiddle with one of my children, whether it be against their will, which obviously my child wouldn't be put to death if it was against their will and they didn't want to do it. They were essentially RAP'd. He wouldn't be put to death. He or she wouldn't be put to death, but the woman would. Even if they did want it, they'd be put to death right along with her. Just going to the law, they'd be put to death. The punishment for adultery is death. All right, adultery is when a woman does anything outside of the realm of her marriage in concerns of what you know what it is, right? And if a man deals with a woman who is married, or even if a woman deals with a woman who's married, which a woman shouldn't be dealing with a woman any damn way, that's punishable unto death as well. That's sodomy. So it says in verse 11, and the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Now, I just already said, if she diddles with one of your children against their will, the child will be all right. But she's supposed to be put to death regardless. This goes vice versa. The father's wife, she shouldn't be touching the son or the daughter. If a man lie with his daughter, okay, there you have that one. Go back and see if it's another one that goes on par. Yeah, that was pretty much it concerning that. So we know what's supposed to happen now. That woman is supposed to be put to death. So in the ancient world, she would be ordered to be put to death. It's a capital punishment, right? She should be put to death for that, right? Just go into the scriptures, dog. It's that easy. But since we're not in the ancient world, we can't put her to death. Well, the only other option would be just to leave and have the Lord deal with her. It's so easy, bro. Just go into the scriptures.
Okay, so
when you say diddle, you talk about another woman, right?
Yeah, a woman's molesting one of your sons. Can you divorce her for that?
Yeah, I don't understand these weird questions right here, man.
They're super pertinent.
You might have been with.
Yeah, this is not freakish. When you open up by talking about how the Catholic priests molest children, that's perfectly relevant.
Then when you go
about abuse, but when I
don't understand these weird questions right here, man.
They're super pertinent.
You might.
And he's the captain's right. Why the hell is this guy asking all these weird questions? Well, what does the scriptures say concerning Esau? There's no one as profane as Esau. All right, this Edomites are just disgusting creatures, so they always think weird. Why would you even think of something like that happening? Right? He thinks of something like that happening because that's something he would do. These Edomites have a fucked up mindset. They're the devil. Right? Because why are you thinking of these type of scenarios? But since you want to, we could go into the scriptures about them.
Yeah, this is not freakish. When you open up by talking about how the Catholic priests molest children, that's perfectly relevant.
But they do, and that's the religion you believe in.
Then when you talk
about abuse, but when I talk about abuse and polygyny, that's not relevant. It's like, what are you talking about?
With Epstein,
yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, Epstein. So anyway,
it's relevant. There's
not only is it.
And look at Mr. Raccoony. Look at Raccoony over here. You fucking bitch, shut your ass up, nigga.
Totally relevant.
Why he can talk about my language? I couldn't read a word, but when I do something to him, you got to say something.
You can attack me.
I was totally fair.
Look, I don't give a shit. I don't care about any of your insults. I just want the questions answered. So it's the case then that you can divorce outside of fornication, outside of your wife cheating with another man.
Your Epstein-minded view, I would not stay with anybody that's less than a kid. That's unaliving a kid.
Yeah.
Nor would.
Why has he not gone into the two scriptures concerning this stuff? I already went into the scriptures concerning it, but why has he yet to do this? If you could have cut the conversation 2 minutes short, it could have been a 2-minute long conversation. But the brother, he uploaded 9 minutes of this video. It should have been past no longer than 2 minutes. It should have been chopped. You should have cut him already. What's going on, dude?
They'd be a part of our community because you cannot as kids and be amongst us.
Yeah, but like that's so stupid. There's no way for you to notate that to know that this will be the case or not the case. If you had like 6 wives and they all lived in a household with you,
which is stupid. You shouldn't do that ever in the kingdom. We're not gonna have our wives under the same roof. They're gonna have their own little section, sectionary place where they abode. They're not going to be all under the one roof. It's just not wise.
Right? One of them could kill feasibly one of your other children.
And like I said earlier, if a man leaves a woman or a woman leaves a man, and a man who's a father now goes and get another wife, and that becomes the child's stepmother, can she do that to the child in a monogamous relationship? What the hell does polygyny have to do with this?
They could do that. They could just have postpartum depression and drown them. Just drown them in a tub. They get angry one day and do that. Like, that shit happens. It's not a joke. I don't know why you think that this is Epstein Island conspiratorial tinfoil hat stuff. That could happen. And if it does, I just want you to say that, yes.
That could happen in a monogamous relationship also. So once again, what does this have to do with polygyny?
You can leave her for that.
I said it already.
Okay, then if that's the case, you're in a performative contradiction, because you believe it's only under the idea of fornication that you can leave your wife, and that's it. And yet here you say, no, you can leave her for other extenuating circumstances as well. How about this? Okay, is it the case that if you found out that your wife was robbing everybody else?
When you go into the book of Matthew, in Luke and Mark and etc., that speak about when Yahushua goes and mentions the law of Moses concerning Exodus, the 20, I believe it's the 21st chapter. If not, it's the 22nd chapter. Going into women, and going into men not being able to lead their wives unless it's for fornication, which is adultery, right? That scripture, the Yahushua said it just like that. It only mentioned adultery because at the time, Israelite men were trying to find any way to leave their woman, just to put her away for no fucking reason. They were just trying to make up reasons. And Yahushua was like, no, you could leave her if she commits adultery, though, right? Only time you can leave her. That didn't mean you can't leave her for other reasons. As I already brought out scriptures on how you can leave her for other reasons. The Bible does not contradict itself, bitch. It don't. All right? You're trying to find loopholes in the scripture. See, Esau, this is not like your stupid ass fucking amendments in your legislative, all right? In your legislature. Right? It's not like that. You can't find a loophole in this Bible, bitch. You can't do it, nigga. So give it the fuck up.
Else in your family, okay, and was also an addict. Could you leave her then?
No.
No. Your wife was robbing everybody else in your family, okay, and was also an addict. Could you leave her then?
Yes, the fuck you can. I already brought the scripture out in Ecclesiastes 25. What the hell is this dude doing, man? Ecclesiastes 25 and 26. If she doesn't follow your lead, follow your order, you can leave the bitch. She just can't get remarried. And yeah, the scriptures say if a man leaves a woman, he technically commits adultery, because if she gets another man, that's adultery. And he calls that. But that's only if it's for no reason. Come on now. Come on. You gonna stay with that bitch Tazara yet? She not following your lead. She's robbing your family members, and she's just doing hardcore drugs. You're not gonna lead a bitch. You're gonna fix her. Get the fuck out of here, man.
No.
No.
The scriptures say if a woman not following your lead, put that bitch the fuck away. And when she get her shit together, and she better not go deal with no other men, then y'all can reconcile.
No.
No.
You couldn't leave her then?
No.
No.
I wouldn't. I would fix her.
Okay, and then what if it's the case that you found out that your wife, before you met her, right, had a multitude of sexual partners that you were...
That's adultery. I'd be the one should be put to death, because I'm committing adultery technically. Now, the water Yahweh Shemiel Shai were under grace, and that's why once again in the book of Matthew, when Yahweh Shai said, "Ye are a sinful and adulterous generation," he was talking about now. He was talking about then too, because remember I was talking about Jake on that bullshit, just trying to lead a wife and shit for no reason. You had women trying to lead their husband for no reason, etc. That's why, he had law that was spoken about so much in Matthew, Luke, Mark, Romans, etc. But that's also more potent even now, because it happens even more now, right? So a lot of the women you deal with now, they've already had husbands. They've already had a husband. The first man that deals with a woman, that's her husband. All right? So if you're dealing with a woman who dealt with 10 niggas before you, you committed adultery technically. And she's an adulterous woman. Are you going to be put to death for that? No, because we're under grace. All right? We're under grace. Does that mean go in a woman's in a relationship and go fuck her? Hell no, you're gonna get put to death for that for sure. But it's all about being under grace, right?
Unaware of and had contracted HIV, could you leave her then?
I would know that before I got with her.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the tests, the HIV, and she hit her pass. She hit it from you.
I get the part of
In this society, we're not in the ancient world. So in this society, yes, leave her. In the ancient world, that wouldn't have even fucking happened. And if it did, you knew she was doing folly. So you were what? Leave her. In the way, and how did it happen? How was she contracted on this end? Well, you mentioned how she would. A bunch of fucking folly. Why would you even deal with a woman like that? And you find out, leave her. Yeah, what? I don't get what's wrong with this guy.
about the sex, but how is HIV hidden?
Well, you have a reason. There's some, tons of sexual. Can you leave her then?
Yeah, I wouldn't be with her no more.
Okay, yeah, so you can leave her then. So there's all kinds of so there's all sorts of ways in which you can leave your wife even if she's not cheating on you with somebody. So you're just lying. You're lying to us. You're lying to everybody who's listening. You lied.
And if you started with saying, you could only put your wife away for committing adultery, then yeah, you was wrong. I know the scriptures say that in Matthew, right? But we looked into our other scriptures and it shows there's other ways you can leave your woman. So that scripture was talking about at that time, because what Jake was doing was being very weird and rebellious. And they were using the scripture from the book of Exodus, going into Moses telling the Israelites, yeah, if the man ain't taking care of you, you could leave him. You could put him away. This, then the third, because he had to stop that nonsense. He was like, no, y'all being wicked. Y'all causing too much adultery. So that's when he said that. But as we went through the scriptures, there's other ways you can leave your woman. She just can't deal with another man. And if your woman commit adultery on you, obviously you will lead a bitch. Come on now.
About how it is that you're able to separate yourself from your wife. You are caught in a performative contradiction. You lied, sir. And not only that, let's point this out. How could it be the case that polygyny, under this especially, under your idealism of polygyny, how's that going to help the West? How?
My answer to that is it's not going to help the West. We're not here to help the West. We're actually here to preach the downfall of the West. We're not here to help the West. Come on, just go into the scriptures, Tazariak. Come on, man. Golly. Right here, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophet which prophesieth the peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall that prophet be known that Yahweh have truly sent him. So we're here to prophesy against many countries, against many kingdoms, and we're supposed to preach of war, evil, and pestilence. Does it sound like we're here to help the West, my nigga? We're not here to help the West. What we preach about is not to help the West. We preach the downfall of the West. We preach in Eastern customs. Why the hell would Eastern customs help the West? It's two different hemispheres of the fucking earth. So what are you talking about? We're not here to do that. And that's what he should have said, but he didn't.
How's that actually going to help the West?
When you say under my ideal, can you explain what you mean?
Yeah, whatever you think
No.
Can you have sex with them at the same time?
No.
Whatever you think the rules are when it comes to polygyny. Like, for instance, can your wives have sex with each other?
No.
This is weird.
Can you have sex with them at the same time?
No.
Okay, can you ejaculate halfway in one and he needs to take care of all those women as though they are his wife, right?
A great manager would.
Okay, yes. So if this is the case,
Say what?
and he needs to take care of all of those women as though they were his wife, right?
Say what?
And he needs to take care of all those women as though they are his wife, right?
A great manager would.
Now, what he's talking about is this scripture here. He doesn't know it because he's a dumbass and he doesn't know the scripture. I'm talking about the Edomite. But this is the scripture he's talking about. This is not the scripture he's talking about. It's like it. This is the scripture he's talking about. All right, right here, starting at verse 8. If she pleases not to. What the hell is that scripture? Yeah, this is it. Salakia. Starting at 7. If a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as a man's servants do. If she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he have dealt deceitfully with her. If he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food and her raiment of duty, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. And if he do not these things, 3 things unto her, then she shall go out free without money. So this is what Yahushua was talking about in the New Testament when he said, no, I know concerning the law of Moses because y'all were being wicked, right? But that's not how it's supposed to be. Moses only said this because, well, Jake was just being Jake, very rebellious. So what more could Moses do? Right? But that you're not supposed to do this, right? You're not. And Yahushua came and corrected this in the New Testament. He mentioned this and corrected it. So she ain't supposed to leave because of this. And also, yeah, if you take another wife, you should be prepared to treat her the same as you're treating the wife you have already. But we're not going to have to take care of these women when they come about. Just go into the scriptures, man. It's so easy. Just go into the scriptures. Isaiah, the 4th chapter, in the 1st verse. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. So 7 means completion. So any amount of women, just a complete number of women, is going to take hold of one man in the time of Jacob's trouble. This is polygyny, saying we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. So they're going to get their own food and they're going to get their own apparel. They're going to get their own clothes. So we don't have to provide food or clothing for them. This is what we have to be. This is what we have to provide for them. The only thing we have to provide for them in these days is this: only let us be called by thy name, which would be getting married, to take away our reproach, which is shame. Now, what is this going to do? Letting them be called by our name to take away their shame. This is going to give them a hedge of protection. See, this is where you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, right? And you start at verse 2, and it says, and the man shall be a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, and the shadow of a great rock in the weary land. So a man is a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest. So the only thing that women are going to need in that day, they're not going to need us to provide food and clothes and stuff. No, they're only going to need our protection. That's how we're going to provide for them in this day, the day we're in now, leading into the pinnacle of Jacob's trouble. So just cut them. No, I don't got to provide all that shit. I don't. Stupid.
Okay, yes. So if this is the case, what would be the enforcement arm here to make sure that these men take care of all the women that they have sex with? How would you enforce that in the West?
That's actually a good question. And what I want to say is all of this weird shit that he said from Epstein Island, monogamous people do all the time.
No, monogamous people don't come in one woman and then come in another. They're not monogamous definitionally.
Ejaculate in one.
So definitionally, they're not monogamous. So now you can also agree that there is no such thing as a true monogamous relationship in America then. This nigga's a contradictor. He's contradicting his goddamn self. Just, oh my.
Put it in another.
No, they don't. That would be definitionally.
So what the fuck is a swinger, bitch? They're in a technical monogamous relationship, but from time to time they swing. That's polygamous, right? So there's no, this guy here.
Not monogamy.
Yes, they do.
No, that wouldn't be monogamy.
So now,
but anyway, who cares? Answer the question, please.
Us as Israelites, the way that we teach it. Mm-hmm. America is a cesspool of fornication. Monogamous or polygamous, they don't do it right. That's why he asks me these weird questions. He's asking me these weird questions because there are people like Neo, for example, the entertainer Neo.
Hey, just answer the question, dude.
This is answer. Why are you all in your feelings, man?
I just want you to answer. How would you enforce this?
I want to give all the praises and
I'm gonna let this devil have a word. Fuck him. let's shut the fuck up. Scriptures go all into polygyny. It goes all into polygyny. We know polygyny is right. We're gonna have hella wives in the kingdom, whether you like it or not, Esau, because we know you don't have the endurance that a Jake has. We know you don't have the rod that a Jake got. So you wanted to clam us down because you can't do what we do. You're not like a lion. And that's not our problem, bitch. In the kingdom, we're gonna have hella wives, nigga. And you can't do shit about it with your weird ass. Anyway, with your weird ass. Anyway, Salaki, I was dealing with something. So many scriptures go into polygyny, right? Polygyny is a real thing. Now I'm going to come back and do another lesson going into this polygyny, right? So I'm basically just going to entitle this Devil Argues Against Polygyny, just going to the scriptures, right? And it's going to be part 2. So I'm going to make a part 2 of this lesson, right? Anyway, I'm going to just make a part 2 of this lesson, right? So anyway, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakurash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught us His truth and the spirit and power. Now, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and until next time, Ababa Bo, Kwam Yasharala, Gadol Abadium, Lababo Hagadol, Yahweh Mahar, Wa Habatham, and until next time, Shalom. All right, Shalom. The water, Yahweh Ba'ashem.